Now, let's look at the timeline of opening schools in Uganda. The president communicated in November that schools for semi-candidates will be opened in March. Students were getting ready to go back to school. Now, before that, of course, they had the distance learning, the home learning, which, of course, a lot of Ugandans said, we don't think this program will work. We're absolutely sure this program will not work. And the government said, no, we know it will work. And we had the pulling rope and all that, but we don't see the radios, we don't see the TVs. That means they were not distributed. And our students who went back to school kept telling their teachers and their parents that we're sorry, but the online learning did not work for us. Exactly the reasoning of citizens in Uganda. Why it did not work for them? They said, how do you understand on a radio? How do you understand on TV? You can't tell the teacher, I didn't understand anything. You can't put up your hand. You just have to follow, sit there. We tried. My young sister was in her P4, and she was seated there on TV during the holidays. She had come to Kampala. Of course, she studies in Arua, and the TV was there. So she would give her a pen, and then we'd all get out of the living room to try and give her a quiet environment for her to learn on TV. And then she'd be there with her pen and paper, and she'd try, but you'd literally see she wasn't understanding anything at all. Nothing was getting into her head. It was just a lot of gibberish, a lot of foreign language that they were speaking. And she would ask us, but is this P4 class? Is this P4 studies? Is this P4? Because I don't understand it. It looks like P7. And that is what happens with the online learning. It wasn't something that would last for a long time. It wasn't universal. It was for some schools in the central region who understood the syllabus in the way it ran. But schools, say, in West Nile region are schools that would not catch up with things such as education on radios and television. I mean, even if it was me. Sitting at home and learning, especially on radios, doesn't make sense, unless TV. I'd see a teacher writing on a board and trying to teach, and there will be illustrations of pictures and videos, and then yes, I would learn. But on radios, it was impossible. And yet, we're looking at delivering 9 million radios, more than TVs, and people were supposed to share TVs. And when the conversation of electricity being unavailable came up, they said that all will take power, solar powers to these villages. But I mean, the whole question is, how does it work? How were they planning to make it work? Finally, it didn't work, you know? It didn't work finally. Now we have this one of the 3 billion. Will it work is the question that we're asking. Our numbers are on the screen. Mutukubire simu, mutugambe exactly what you think about this new program of teaching students on internet. We have a call online. Hello? A very good morning. Well, unfortunately, we didn't get that one, but keep getting in touch with us and keep calling us, because very soon Angie will be coming in and taking over the conversation with, of course, the lifestyle segment, where they have a lot to talk to us about, of course, the inspiration person of the day, the book of the day, and then the she usually brings in health, and then she also brings in the different tips of the day, and then the interior decor tip of the day. So mtukubire simu, as we are discussing the radio sets and TV sets and online learning, now we've moved to computers, and how this whole episode of long distance learning in Uganda, you know, the conversation, how does it take place in your head? Does it make sense or doesn't it make sense? As we look through, of course, the conversation of Orient Transformers and Electronics and how they managed or they did not manage to produce the radios that we talked about. Now, Charles Lukoro, the Kumi County Member of Parliament, said it is highly doubtful, and he said it. He actually confirmed it even before visiting Orient Transformers. He said it is highly doubtful that the company, Orient Transformers, has the capacity to assemble the radio receivers and manufacture them. That is 5 million of them. He doubted it, because when they went to that particular company, they found out that there were 2 radio sets that were found there, and they belonged to China, and they were brought through DHL. And they were asking themselves, if this company that was given a tender to produce 5 million radios at 33,000, has to produce these radios, are they able to? Now that is where members of parliament sat and said that unfortunately we cannot give you the money that you're asking for because it looks like you are unable to produce these radios and TV. However, the president was in full support of this program and said that it is okay for them to go ahead with this online learning, but it did not work. So do you think that this new one will work? For me, I say I'm not too sure about it because here's the problem with our planning sector in all ministries. What we do is put it on paper, but putting it into action is the hardest thing that has ever happened to us. We can never actually put the information in action. We said students were going back to school the first time. There was a meeting. And then later on they said, Mulindeko, students cannot go back to school, we are not ready for them. Later they said candidates are going back to school, and then later they said Mulindeko, we're not ready for them. Now all this confusion, and then the schools, and then now the computers, we're asking ourselves, what is the bigger picture when it comes to the start of schools in our country? We have a caller. Hello, a very good morning. Hello. I'm not sure what is happening to the network. I was almost saying internet. I'm not sure what's happening to the network today, but it seems like our calls are a little bit slow today. But keep trying because I'm seeing that we're running out of time and Angie has to come in. So I'll be logging out soon. Most definitely, I think I'll be logging out without phone calls because our network is a little bit slow today. Let's keep trying, keep calling, and we see how we can go on with this conversation. A very good morning. You're live on STV. Well, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we're unable to pick calls. Our network is a bit slow. It could be a technical matter because, hey, I'm seated here and I wouldn't know what is happening back there in the control room, but they'll definitely update me on what is going on and why we have failed to get callers through today. I'm sorry for the ones who tried calling and were unable to get through. Now we'll jump straight forward to Angie, who will be taking us through the lifestyle segment, and then we'll be back with Tariq Nkata to take us through what is happening in the business world. Stay with us.
Hello.
Well, finally we get a caller. A very good morning.
Good morning, Latifa.
How are you doing today? Is this Fazil?
It's Fazil.
You see, I now know your voice, Fazil. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
No, I'm fine. I was almost going for a break. Our network is not that clear, but I'm glad you got through.
I know, but
yes.
I'm missing Chris. Where is Chris these days?
Well, Chris has taken an off. He's resting a little bit. You know what happens when you work all year long. So he's taken a break, but he'll definitely be back soon.
Okay.
Yes. So what is your view on this new program of a 3 billion budget of online learning, teaching people how to use internet? Do you think it will work, given the history of radios and television?
Okay. I think it may work if those people can display those things at the school at the right time. Nga tebakitaddemu buyaaye. Omanyi kati buli kimu kijja naye tekibeera mu bulambulukufu. Bagamba nti tugenda kugaba kino ate ne kiba nga kitabula abantu nga tebagenda kigaba. Olabe nga amasomero gatandise okufuna obuvuyo ate kino ekintu ate ffe tetwafuna. Kati osange nga n'ebyalo ebimu tebiina masannyalaze. Whereby kijja kuba nga tekyandibadde kibi naye basooke batunuulire amasomero gaffe gonna gasaana okufuna ebintu ebyo. Kiyinza okwesanga nga tekiyinza okutuyamba ku side emu, kirina advantage ne disadvantage. Kiyinza okutuyamba n'ate oludda olumu waliwo amasomero agali eyo waliwali eyo nga n'obutwalayo kompyuta tekirina kyekigenda bayamba kiri awo. Ne ku lwekyo singa bakikola ne basooka kukola research, basooka bakola research balabe kisaanibwa oba nedda. Wakiba nga tekyetaagisa basale amagezi amala because ebintu bino byonna byakupalapala nnyo. Ndaba nti abantu abamu babiplaningiramu kufuniramu bufuni naye nga si kyekiri awo ekyamanyi ekyandibadde awo. Nze kati nze ndowooza yange eri emu basooke bakole research balabe obanga walemererwa okuleeta radios kati kompyuta ze zigenda okujja mangu zikole oba just oleeta buleesi buvuyo mu bantu banonye ekintu ekyangu ekisobola okuyamba amasomero.
I hear you.
Yendowooza yange Latifa.
Thank you so much, Fazil. Very important input. As long as corruption is not involved in what is happening, then we're good to go. And maybe, just maybe, this program may work. Fortunately, Fazil was able to call through, but for you who were unable to call through, I'll say it again, that is very unfortunate. But hopefully, on Monday, when we meet again, you'll be able to do so. Hello?
Hello.
A very good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? Your name's and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from Najanankome.
Yes. And your name is?
My name is Wahab.
Wahab. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah.
Wahab, do you think this program will work?
This program, I don't think it will work.
Why not?
So, like this, look at the government schools right now. Even those in Kampala, they don't have facilities as for now. So how would they be able to distribute those laptops or computers for kids to learn on? And then maybe this program is for those who are in urban centers, let's say Kampala. But then outside Kampala, how will kids benefit from it? This nation is for everyone, and everyone has to, like, receive everything like others do. But I don't know, these people, the government officials, they think of their families and then how would we earn out of something. Okay. So they said about the radios, but they never distributed them. TVs, and then abana banasomera batyakolera ebintu nga tebalina internet, tebalina biki, internet ekisasula busasulizi. Okubeera ku social media banakusomeseza, you have to pay for internet. You know, they are students, parents, they struggle to get school fees, to feed those kids. Na buli kimu kati ebyo byonna government efuba kimu kwakuwaza abantu kola. Government officials bateekayo ne beddeko balowooza ebintu ebirina eggwanga so si bo bye bafunamu. All they think of is their pocket.
I hear you.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Well, thank you very much for your view. Thank you very much for getting in touch with us.